Hello, everyone. This is Arlette. I'm a mindset coach as well as a parent coach. And this is Women in Wisdom. We are all coaches from all over the world. We meet weekly and we discuss about different topics. We also have suggestions from our clients where they tell us what topics or what discussions we can have. So feel free to direct message any of us and let us know if there is a specific topic that you would like us to cover. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
Good to see you all. So last week we talked about intuition and we discussed a lot of things about intuition. And one of the things, the thoughts that came to my mind was about blockages, certain blockages that we have or all have, or maybe not all, but certain blockages that we have and how that are blocking us or keeping us in mental prison. How can we unblock our blockages and how can we be aware? Because sometimes when we don't know what we don't know, we don't have the opportunity to work on those blockages. But how can we know if we are blocked, and how can we unblock those parts in us? Obviously, the blockages are all those unhealed parts in us, or unresolved parts in us, or suppressed parts in us. But how can we be aware of all those parts so that we unblock them and ultimately reconnect with ourselves? Ladies, you're the best people to talk about this topic. Your valued information, expertise. I'm really looking forward to this podcast. Who wants to start?
I can start.
Okay, excellent. Camila.
I can start. Yeah, I can start because this is, well, I'm right after revealing another blockage in me. And it was this time, it was so easy. It was not difficult this time. In the past, I remember it was so difficult to identify any blocks, any beliefs that are stopping me. And now I feel that something is under the surface, very close, and in a moment it comes and appears, and I already know that it's there. And this time it was about that, why I don't make sales in my business. And the reply was, oh, because I have no time to manage all the relationships with my clients, and it's so difficult for me, and I miss the calls and I forget about meetings, blah 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 blah. And it was, come on, really, it's just a belief, right? It's just a belief. Of course, every belief comes from the experience we have. And it was built some day in my past, but it doesn't have to be like that in the future. So what am I to do now with that? Just convince myself that I have a lot of space for clients. I have a lot of time to talk with them. I don't miss any phone calls. I don't miss any meetings, and it works well for me and for them. Just like
Interesting insights.
I love it. I just want to say I love when you were talking about it, Camilla. I could hear the openness and calmness in your voice as you were talking about the place that you're coming from now, where you have the time and the space. Like I could hear it and feel it from you. And I love witnessing those things because it shows that you've really made that shift and you've really embodied this new state of being for yourself, and you've created a new reality for yourself to have these experiences. So congratulations.
Thank you. But you know, Brie, what I'm missing right now, patience and trust. Although I know that I built my patience very well and I built my trust unbelievably, Michaela, I'm still so thankful to you. But in the moment when I discover something like that, I see that now I need to stay in this calmness and in this trust that I do have a lot of space for my clients and I have time for that. Simply.
Just talking about it, like I do have that space, just saying that to yourself, you're actually, is what Brie says, you actually created that space. And since you are so specific in how you want to fill in that space, it's just going to align because this is what you want, isn't it?
Exactly. and calmness in this relationship, in this, well, in this quality, right? Calmness and being certain, being sure what I'm doing, what they're doing, and what we are both expecting from this relationship. So yes, this is alignment, absolutely.
You unblocked one of your blockages, let's say.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Hmm.
What do you want to say?
Well, for me, what I have come across in creative work, in creating anything, because that's the most important part of my work, is to create new resources, that can help clients, to create offers, to create artworks. And what I discovered was my blockage was that I had put myself certain rules, like of I first need to be like this or like that, or this thing needs to be perfect before I launch it. So all these stories, where did I identify the stories, where am I making it difficult for myself to get something done? Because that's also just a story. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Oh, that's so powerful.
To get out from me. I can give birth to a thing which can then be improved as I go, we can always adjust something. It doesn't have to be perfect, but what is really important for me is to let those things out now, so that I don't procrastinate. And also I have a lot of clients with tendency, when we start working together, with tendency to procrastinate certain things and feeling blocked in certain areas. But those are typically the areas where we are being too much like perfectionists, where we have a lot of stories, how the business should be, how this thing should look. And then that's where we tend to hold ourselves back. And another thing that helps me very much is a quick action. So I take action before the stories come in my mind, and I get it done. So I get it out there. I commit to this thing, like it's there, before maybe it's even ready. But the quick action helps me to get through those blockages without even thinking about them.
It's interesting what you're saying, because what I hear you saying is that let go of the outcomes, how a certain thing should be, because we get stuck in our blockages and wanting to be perfect. Just let go of the outcome and get on with what you are doing and act fast, is what you're saying. Because when you waste time, then you start overthinking, and then you lose again yourself, and you lose in the process. So take a decision and jump.
I think it's really specific, or specific to each person, because I know that I used to have struggle with overthinking in the past. My mind is crazy, it can start overthinking. So because of that, I know that quick action is a good solution for my type of person.
Well, that's what I say to when I do my mindset coaching with my clients. And I say that, let's say a thought comes to your mind and you're feeling something is off, you have to understand that the more time you spend there in that space, that's where your overthinking starts. That's where you're going to go to, all your blockages will be activated, your insecurities. So it's very important to strengthen that muscle in your mind, that, when something happens, to have the tools to know what to do with it. For example, embracing negative emotions, or blah, 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 so many things.
What I also really like, this quote, I don't know where I heard it, using our mind as a tool when we need it. Yes. And for the most part, we don't even need it that much, to be honest. Sometimes we need it. We take it out of the shelf, we use it if we need to analyze something, some data, whatever. But then we put it back on the shelf and just go more with the flow and creativity and inspiration and intuition. That's how I would say.
It's just rewiring our nervous system continuously, and obviously you need a coach to do that. It's impossible. I always say nothing is possible, but I would say that it's almost impossible to really achieve fast results on your own, because
Mhm.
when it comes to rewiring your nervous system and reprogramming your mind and unlearning habits and all those things, it is always much faster and much more efficient when you're working with a coach that knows this stuff, done it, and can guide you easily, because you're not supposed to know. It's a specific kind of profession. You're not supposed to know everything about this profession, you know. So yeah, so I would really encourage people to invest in a coach to move forward in their life. Thank you, Arta. Who else wants to share? Feliz,
Hi,
please.
ladies. Hi.
Good to see you. We miss you.
I'm so sorry that I haven't been here for such a long time, but I had such a roller coaster. It's really
But you're back, and this is the most important.
yeah, and blocks. I'm experiencing blocks like crazy now, and I want to share with you that I lowered the bar for myself, and I'm like, okay, if the universe is showing me clearly that this is not the right time for certain things to happen in my life, I don't fight it anymore. I accept it. You know, I used to be before I was a coach, I used to work in corporate, and if something wouldn't work, I would just go harder, faster, more, you know, full on. And I don't do that now anymore. I just realize that if the timing is not right, I cannot change it. So I learned to accept certain situations. It doesn't mean that did I forget about my passion? No, I don't forget about my passion. Because I'm a single mom and I'm dealing with financial situations. So I don't give up my passion. I still continue my passion as a coach. I love to coach the people that I'm coaching right now. But I also realize that I have to be realistic, and I am a mom. I have my responsibilities. I have to do certain things. So I just feel what my body is telling me. And when I'm nervous, or when I'm sad, or when I'm not happy and bubbly, I know something's wrong. So I just listen to my body first, and then I try to translate it and to understand the signals of my body, the tension, the pressure, the headaches. Headaches is because I'm in my head too much, and I'm stressed, you know, and I'm worried, and I'm stuck, a block. So I ask my body what's happening, what's going on. And then I ask myself, I do like Arta is saying, I try to focus on one thing and step into action. And this helps so much when I understand that what my body is telling me, the pain that I feel or the pressure that I feel. Then I try to do something about it, just asking myself, okay, what can I do? Is it my responsibility, or is it someone else's responsibility? If the answer is yes, it's my responsibility, I try to do something about it. And I step into action. What can I do? How can I change it? What's the lesson here for me? How can I grow? And it's very challenging, Arlette. Blocks.
Very challenging.
Whoa.
But I love the way I love the examples that you gave. Obviously, it's from a real life example, and it will make our audience more really understand what we're talking about. But when I hear you talk, I mean, I hear all the wisdom of knowing when to stop, when to detach yourself from the goal, when to listen to your intuition, when to let go. These are all mental tools that you've developed over the years. That is where, when you talk about lowering the bar, this is how I understand.
Yes, it's true. And I learned this from my coach. And what you said is so true, that my coaching has stopped, and I feel that I want a coaching session, a new coaching journey to start soon, because it's so helpful. And I don't detach from my goal, but I accept that I have to do this. If my end goal is high up here and I'm below here, and I cannot jump so fast to do it in once, I will have to do the little steps in between, you know? And yeah, sometimes I feel in my life that when I'm going too fast, the universe is, or things happen in my life to show me, oh, Phyllis, you gotta slow down.
It's like
So,
a
yeah,
child when they are
don't-
too keen, you know?
I want it now, I want it now, I want it
Yeah.
now. Yeah. And
But
if
it
it's
doesn't
not
work.
meant to be on this time, it will not happen. So you have to work on yourself, you have to grow, you have to, you know. But the most difficult part for me that I have been going through in the last couple of weeks is paying attention. I told you guys in the chats that I was paying attention to my inner voice and being quiet. I was in silence a lot, because how can you listen if you're not in silence?
Gaining strength, reconnecting with yourself.
Yeah. And it's hard. I cry a lot. It's
Yeah.
hard. But then afterwards come the smiles. And then, you know, it's in the darkest nights that you see the brightest stars. So, and after a dark night, the sun will rise and a new day starts. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's great having you here, Feliz. We miss you.
Thank you. I
A
missed you
lot.
too, all of you. So thank you for your friendship.
Free, Michaela. Something to share with us about blockages, unblockages? Would love to hear from you.
Yeah, my big experience, and it was a big one, real over the last somehow 2 weeks, was I'm also in a big blockage because I have to make decisions even about my business. So I really have to decide who I want to serve really clearly. This somehow you call target group, you know, and I don't want to make this decision so clear because I am such full of fear that I don't reach everybody I can serve, you know. And I really, after making this decision, there is so much energy getting free out of this. And I really don't know if this works or there's still such thing of fear, but it's such small, it's small down so much that it gives me so, and it was so crazy for myself to experience how much energy was blocked in don't do this decision. So for me right now, this decision-making process, there's so much energy inside, and I mean really committed decisions. I can decide to go and buy something. That's also a decision. And yeah, maybe I buy or not. I have made this decision, and maybe I buy something else or that. I mean, with really committed decision, you go for that and nothing else. So even when you go on a journey, you pay for this journey and you jump on the plane and you go where you have booked the one, and you don't say, oh, maybe I go anywhere else, you know. That's really committed, and that's what I mean. And it's so, I even can't understand where this energy is coming to me. I worked the last 4 or 5 days through, and I'm so exciting having so much energy right now, and it's like flowing to me ideas, and it's so easy right now. And I don't, like Arta was saying, I don't think so much about is this right or is this wrong. Somehow I feel I want to take this word, I don't want to take that word. So I got more clearness about how I got really closer to my client, and they are single moms with about 2 kids, you know, and it's like me, and the client is right now like me, and I'm feeling like they are feeling right now. And that's so much easier for me right now to feel into my client and to deliver more and easier, and yeah, to go there where they are right now. And it's amazing. I can tell you, if you make clear, really committed decisions, somehow when you feel this block that you don't want to make the decision and you make it somehow someday, there is coming so much energy when it's flowing and the block is gone.
So much, such a powerful tool, because we know what we want. We think we're working towards that sometimes, but what we really lack is to take that committed decision, because we know it's the right thing for us. And when we take that decision, you're saying, things start aligning, and you feel like you're inspired. It's not a work for you. You're loving doing what you're doing. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful place to be. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Michaela. And of course, Bree will say the best things, and we will always says the best things to close our podcast. So Bree, we will end our podcast with you. What do you have to say? What would you like to say?
I appreciate what everyone else has been sharing, and I'm just going to share from an acupuncture lens, from my viewpoint of what blockages do to the body and the health and affect all areas of your life. And there's the approach that I take, and what I see with people is they spend a lot of time trying to figure out the blocks, and that in itself is a block and keeps you stuck. And my approach as an acupuncturist, and when I guide people to vibrational health as well, is we're so familiar with those areas of our lives that don't work. Let's spend time where we want to be. So we spend more time where we want to be rather than we don't want to be, and you're going to start to see movement in that. So when I'm needling someone, I'm not going to the injured area. I'm going to the area that has an abundance of chi and vitality, and that's going to balance out the disharmony in the body. It's the same with our awareness. We don't need to spend a lot of time on the block. We'll know what that is. It'll make itself apparent as during the healing process or the balancing process. But spend time focusing on what you want. Take steps towards what you want anyway. You might have resistance come up. You might feel the urge to procrastinate. Great, do it anyway. You know, put your energy towards what you want. Think about what you want, feel what you want, and that in itself will start to create harmony, and you'll alleviate the block with ease and effortlessness.
What a great advice. I will keep it in my mind, your words and all of your words, ladies. It's always a pleasure to come to these meetings weekly and to get insight. It's not only about helping others. Through this podcast, I always leave thinking about it. I'm more stimulated, more inspired. I always leave the podcast thinking about it more, like how I can improve it. Always, you ladies always move me towards what Bree is talking towards, the positive polarity of life. And that's the only way to move forward, to move ourselves to the positive polarities of life. Thank you all once again, and to our viewers and people that are following us, please let us have feedback from you. And if there are any topics that you would like us to cover, please approach us, send us a message through social media, and share and subscribe. Feel free to connect with us. We would love to hear from you. Thank you, ladies. All the best. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.